Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we've got a super purpley nail art design. So if you're into purples, which I know a lot of you guys are that are subscribed to me, you are about to be in for a little bit of a treat. So we've got a purple design and it's going to be a purple floral design. So we've got 3 different shades of purple here, but all of them are from Madam Glam today. And the nude that we've got today is also from Madam Glam and it's called Food Coma. I've been absolutely obsessed with it lately. You have probably seen it multiple times on my channel now. I cannot get enough of it and I'm on my 3rd bottle, guys, believe it or not. I can't believe it. I don't think I've ever completed a full-on bottle, let alone 3 times. I might have completed a bottle here and there, but definitely not 3 times. That's a bit wild. So it really shows how much I really enjoy it. So we are doing a floral design. The florals we're going to achieve using a stamping plate, which I'll show you guys later on in the video. But also today's video was really kind of inspired by a glitter that I'm going to use later on. So the glitter is from Larissy. I will have a link in the description for you guys to save some money if you're shopping with them. Same with Madam Glam as well. So with Larissy, they offer like a bunch of glitters. They offer wholesale options, but also smaller bags for us nail techs and stuff like that. So they are just an amazing website and they've hold so many different glitter options on there, mixes and regulars and fines and hexes and all sorts of different mixes on there. And they have these glitters that I believe they called them chameleon. I just can never say the word, but it's a really cool glitter and it's really nice. It kind of like shifts from one color to another. It's really beautiful and I got a couple of them from their website, different shades, and I've never been able to use them at all. They're very pretty. I've just struggled to put them into a design. So this is how today's set came about. I was determined to make it work, so I decided to pick up one of the glitters and I ended up picking a purple one. Decided to put together a couple of the gel polishes that will match up, and then I just kind of took it from there. So you could say today's design looks a bit wild. It's incredibly busy. You could kind of look at today's design maybe more of like accent nails maybe, or as a full set, depends how busy of a nail design you like yours to be, or switch a couple of the nails out for a bit more calmer, maybe one colored nails, all up to you. But when it comes to our video here, we've now got 3 nails that are fully nude. We've got 1 nail that's an ombre and 1 purple nail. And right now I'm just fixing up a French tip nail that I managed to mess up a little bit. And we're using the middle shade of purple to achieve this French tip. And it's one of those nude nails. That's going to go into the lamp and it will have 2 layers applied. So we've applied 1 and I'll do the second one off camera. Now the other 2 nails are going to have squiggly lines on them. So the first nude nail is going to have one that's kind of starting from the top left and then finishing bottom right. So you want to do like a squiggle. And then I'm here just thickening up the line, and we're going to be repeating this with all of the colours. So I believe this shade is going to be our middle shade. So we are going to do a light shade above and then a dark shade below. And on to the second or third, I guess, nude nail that we're working on. We're going to do a squiggly line idea as well, but slightly differently. So we're going to do 1 tiny one at the bottom, which almost looks like a slanted line there. And then we're going to do 1 at the top, which is a bit more of a squiggly line. So basically you're repeating, the top line is very similar to the other line that we just created, but rather than basically dragging it right from the top right to the bottom on the right hand side, you kind of want to do it halfway up the nail. And then thicken it up to your liking and then pop it into the lamp. So now we're in with our lighter shade and you basically want to repeat the pattern that you've already created. So creating the very first line is probably going to be the most hardest because you really have to lay the base down, but once you've laid it down you just have to repeat what you've created below and follow the lines that you've done with other shades. So here is the lighter shade. I believe the middle purple, I only had to do 1 layer because the gel polish is super opaque. I absolutely adore Madam Glam gel polishes. They're so nice for nail artwork, color blocking, you know, all sorts. I absolutely love them and I just find myself drawn to them every time I do nails, which is probably why you always see them on my channel. But they're just so great and I'm so into nail art, so that's why I always seem to be picking these up because they're just so easy to work with. They're super creamy and opaque and just everything you want in a nail art gel and just a gel overall, to be honest. So here's the other nail again, just finishing up with that purple. And again, as I'm doing here, if you mess up, which happens to be quite a lot in this video for me actually, just grab yourself a lint-free wipe with some acetone or nail prep cleaner and just wipe away any areas that you just, you know, put some imperfections down. And now lastly, we're working on our darker shade of purple. So we're going to pop it below the first line that we created, and we're doing it on both of those two nails, and we're actually going to include this darker shade of purple on our French tip nail too, but that'll be in just a second. So with this darker purple, it's really dark, and because of how dark it is, I felt like I needed to, I believe I did 2 coats of it, just because it was a bit sheer here and there. So, you know, there's some gel polishes that are just amazing, but obviously some, due to the color that you get in the gel polish, are really hard to make super thick and opaque, if that makes sense. So things like a white might be a bit difficult to make super opaque where you've got a really dark background shade, for example. So stuff like that, it's just happens that it isn't always, you know, really good, but that's just with absolutely any gel polish, so this isn't just a unique thing to Madame Glam. So I'm just finishing up the last little squiggle here below. Those will go into the lamp, and now onto the French tip nail. I decided to do an outline with the darker shade of purple. So where we made the French tip smile line area, which you will see in just a second, I am basically going over it. So if you basically messed up your French tip area, you can actually just cover it up right now with this technique. We're just going to go over it with the darker shade of purple, just to give it a bit of an outline and a bit of something, and that's it basically. We're just doing it at the top. So for me here, I felt like I put the smile line a bit too high, so rather than pulling the darker shade even higher up, I'm actually just going to apply it where I've already done the French tip smile line, and I'm just going to drag it a bit lower to thicken up the line where I wanted it. But if my smile line was a bit too low and I wanted it a bit higher, then I would just, rather than placing it on the purple side of the French tip, I'll be popping it a bit higher onto the nude side. I hope that makes sense. So once you're happy, pop it into the lamp. This isn't the most easiest of bits and bobs, this part here on the French tip, but it definitely creates a really nice effect. So now all the nails are cured, and it's time to apply our base coat, and the base coat is going to work as our glue for the glitter that we're about to use. So we're going to apply the base coat on all the nails, excluding the ombre nail. The ombre nail is the only nail that is not going to receive any glitter on it. It's going to actually be our crystal nail, so it's still going to be sparkly, but just in a little bit of a different way. So the base coat I'm using is like a super old base coat now. I got it on AliExpress, I think years ago, it feels like. I think I got like a bunch of bottles because they were just super affordable back in the day. And they've just been chilling, and I've just been using them for, you know, nails that no one's wearing or anything like that. And just for design purposes, I've just been really enjoying using them for glitters and stuff like that. So that's been applied, and it is not cured because we're going to basically dab the glitter into the wet gel polish. Here I almost messed up and spilt my glitter. I don't know if you saw that. And then once it's into the gel polish, we'll pop it into the lamp and it'll cure in place. And then we will apply another layer of base coat just to help with the thickness of the glitter, so it's not bumpy and lumpy and all of that kind of stuff. And then we'll be able to crack on with our stamping. So the full purple nail is going to have a scatter of this glitter across the whole thing. Looks a bit like a mess at the moment, but once we place the matte top coat later on, it will kind of mute everything down a little bit more, and it will make it look a bit more in place. So I'm just trying here to move everything about a little bit more to make it look as symmetrical as possible, like kind of spread it out symmetrically around the nail, if that makes sense. Then onto the French tip nail, I'm only placing the glitter at the top, only at the top, and I'm trying to place the bigger chunks at the top and then the couple of the smaller ones a bit lower to make it look like it's kind of raining down on the nail. I was trying, but I kept picking up the really small ones, which was a little bit frustrating, but it basically did the job in the end. So that was good. That's all we're doing on that one. And then lastly, on the last two nails where we've got the squiggly lines, I'm going to pop little clusters of glitters here and there. So you will see in just a second. Here we are. There's our nail. So I'll pop, let's say, a couple of those larger hexes and then a couple of small ones around it, and that's it. And I'm just doing a couple of those little clusters around the nail. So of course, depending how large of your nail that you're working on is, you might be only able to do one or two, you might be able to do like me a couple. It will all depend on how large your nail is. And I feel like this little technique would be really cool with any kind of nail design and any glittery colors. So if you do have a glitter in your collection that you're finding yourself a bit hard to use, maybe try this design out, and hopefully you like it. Or maybe if you just exclude everything else I did, maybe like a full-on just squiggly line nail design across all 5 nails, and just a cluster of little glitters here and there, and maybe a stamp or 2 here and there too, and you'll probably have yourself a really cool nail design. So I'm just finishing up those little clusters, then everything will go into the lamp, and of course, like I mentioned before, I will go ahead and do another layer of base coat on top, and then we'll be ready to do our stamping. So with this base coat, for some reason it leaves the tacky layer, but it leaves it in a very weird way, so I have to actually wipe the nails down before I stamp. Usually I like to leave it because it leaves a tacky layer, and so I don't have to rush as much of my stamping, because once you pick it up on the stamper, if you don't have a tacky layer, you need to stamp fairly quickly whilst the polish is still kind of wet. But if you leave a tacky layer on your nails, you don't have to rush as much, because the tacky layer will just help transfer the design over and you're good to go. But because the gel polish, the base coat was leaving a weird residue, like a residue actually, yeah, not even a tacky layer, like a residue, like a gooey, maybe not gooey, sorry, maybe like an oily, yeah, oily is probably the best word to use, oily residue. It was very weird, so I wipe it off and I just have to work a little bit quicker than usual. I have this footage sped up anyways, just because the stamping part is always the longest, because it takes so long. You have to wipe away and then reapply and everything, and just takes some time. So on this French nail, I am applying the floral pattern only on the light purple part of the French tip. That's only where it's going. So as you can see here, I went over because it's really hard to place it just on the light purple side. And I'm just using the lint-free wipe and some acetone. I'm just wiping away any areas that I don't want. The nail that we worked on previously, I've just picked up a couple of those flowers and popped them anywhere basically on the nail. So we're going to do the exact same thing on the other squiggly line as well. I really enjoyed those flowers, so I just kept picking them up. I really liked them. And I do have other plates with other kind of flowers, like a different look of these flowers, but I really enjoyed the way they looked. I've not used them before. I've used this plate before, I think. I've got a little feeling I did, but I don't think I've used these flowers. I could be wrong. I make too many designs to remember sometimes, but yeah, I really enjoyed them, so we are utilizing them in today's video. So now lastly, we've got this full glittery nail to go, so I'm going to pick up these 2 flowers there. So I wanted them together because I like the space distance that they've got from one another. And then I'm going to repeat that again, but just remove the larger flower and just place it on above that flower that we've just stamped. So I'm just going to remove what I don't want and just stamp it at the top. There we go. That's all of our stamping done. So lastly, we've got a glitter nail to do. So I've only got a couple of little things. So I've got a large AB crystal, then we've got this purple crystal, then we've got a teardroplet AB, finishing it off with this purple crystal again, same size and everything. And then off camera, actually, I'm going to do some caviar bead placements around the purple and large AB crystal at the top there. But that happened off camera. It took so long. I don't even know if it was worth it. Here's me just prepping for it. So I'm applying the rhinestone glue gel around the crystals. That's where we're going to follow on and place the caviar beads. Not too sure if it was worth it, but here it is anyways. And I also applied a bow on the French tip as well, which you will see in just a second when we top coat. So right now we are top coating and we are using a matte top coat today, and I'm going to apply on all those beautiful nails. So this will help also kind of mute the design down, especially because it's super busy. It's probably one of my most busiest sets. When I looked at it, I was like, whoa. I like really busy sets, but this one's a little bit much. But I hope someone likes out there, or at least gives some sort of an idea or vision for somebody out there. So we've done the 2 nails that have got the charm and the crystals down. Now we don't have to worry as much, so we can just go wild with our top coat on the last 3 nails. I will pop those into the lamp, and then I'll show you guys the final results on my little stand. And you can let me know in the comments what you guys think of this one. It's a bit wild, but yeah, let me know. Or if you're going to recreate it, same thing, let me know, tag me. Feel free to, of course, recreate any designs of mine, or if you're inspired by any of my designs, just don't, feel free to upload any footage or pictures and tag me, because I love to see your content. So here is the final result. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I would love to see you all in my next video. Bye guys.